have a lot of favorite songs depending on what day you ask me, but I think that if I was to pick one, it would be About a Girl from Nirvana. They are my #1 all-time favorite bands. People are always buying me Nirvana stuff for my birthday or Kurt Cobain stuff, such as this St. Kurt candle here that Dan got me for Christmas. Yeah, they're just kind of my gateway band. I learned about a lot of stuff through them and reading about them, and they led me to some of my other favorite bands like the Pixies. So I'd have to go with About a Girl. Dan and I talk about this question a lot, so that's cool that you asked. We kind of like doing stuff that's not really an obvious choice. I say that as we just covered the Mary Jane song, but that was more out of like a boredom thing and just a song that we knew kind of well that we thought we could add something interesting to. The other day he sent me like a Weezer song, which I thought was an interesting choice. I don't know if I could pull that off. I'm really into the idea of doing Ooh Baby I Love Your Way, Peter Frampton, kind of like a slow, dreamy version of that. We talked about before Guns N' Roses' Don't Cry, which maybe will happen at some point. We've talked about doing like an entire album of Tom Waits covers, but Scarlett Johansson already did that, so, you know. I don't know if there needs to be another one, but that could be cool. I'd cover anything, really, honestly. Like, what do you want to hear? What would be cool? What do you think that we would do a good job doing? Let us know. Let us know. Leave a comment and tell us what song we should cover, and maybe we will do that. I hope we'll be touring when all of this is over. I don't really know. Everything's kind of up in the air. We were starting to kind of get the band together because it's just Dan and I right now before all of this happened, and then obviously this happened, so things have been kind of put on hold, so I hope so. Next on the music release calendar, maybe some more live from home videos. We also kind of pretty much have a full EP and another EP almost done, so I'm hoping that comes out maybe by the end of the year. It just, everything's up in the air right now. So that's cool that Chris follows us. I'm not sure if I knew that either, but actually Dan's old band, Amusement Parks on Fire, toured with Silver Sun Pickups. So they're good friends of ours. Chris is amazing. He's a really great guy. So that's awesome. That's how you found us. We're gonna tell him about that. That's really cool. We actually haven't gotten to meet anybody in person yet because, you know, we just started releasing music and then all of this stuff happened, so we haven't even played any shows yet. I've met a bunch of people online, really cool people that I've become friends with, and I get a lot of messages from people telling us that they like our music, which is so nice. Somebody the other day sent me a message saying that they had been writing to bands that they liked since the 80s and nobody had ever responded to them. I was the first person to ever respond to them, so that was really sweet. I try to respond to everybody that I can, and I'm looking forward to meeting people when we do get to play shows. Dan and I have very different influences from one another, and then we have a lot of similar things that we liked, which we sort of agreed upon for this project, like obviously things we've talked about before, Jesus and Mary Chain, Beach House. Dan actually gave me a few records to show of things that were some of his favorites. Tom Waits' Rain Dogs, Twin Peaks' Fire Walk With Me, Serge Gainsbourg, Francois Hardy. He's obviously not here to talk about them, so I'm gonna make him do a video and talk about those. I'll talk about the ones that I like. I've gotten into Agnes Obel recently. I love her. We saw her at the Masonic Lodge where we got married, actually. That was awesome. And some of the new songs we're working on were kind of heavily inspired by Agnes Obel's voice in particular. And she makes really cool use of sound and instruments too, so I dig her a lot. This is my favorite record by The National. I think when we saw them perform this live, I stood up the entire time and just was in awe. I didn't sit down. I think he's such a great songwriter and such a great performer, and this record, I love every single song on it. Jeff Buckley's Sketches for My Sweetheart the Drunk is one of my all-time favorites. His voice is incredible. Neil Young, Dan and I got married to Heart of Gold, so it's kind of super special, and you know, he's kind of like a love him or hate him. He's got a really quirky voice. Huge Elvis fan. We were listening to The Girl of My Best Friend a lot when we wrote the original song that became Someday Maybe. It was called Best Friend's Baby, and it was a spec for Riverdale. So Elvis is a big influence as well. I love old school hip hop. I think they're some of the best songwriters, and gotta go with Ghetto Boys. They're from Houston, and My Mind is Playing Tricks on Me is one of the greatest songs ever written, in my opinion. I think it's amazing. Obvious one, but Psycho Candy is really great. Probably not my favorite record by them, but the only one that we have on record, so I'm gonna show this one. This is a rarities and B-side record from the Pixies that my friend got me for my birthday. Here Comes Your Man is on here, which one of our friends performed at our wedding. Rock of My Soul is probably one of my favorite Pixie songs. I love quirky voices, and I think Frank Black's voice is amazing. I love his solo stuff too. The Frank Black and the Catholics, Show Me Your Tears is probably one of my favorite records. So I'd say Frank Black is a big influence too. I mean, definitely in the rock world, Kurt Cobain, hands down, is one of my biggest influences. I learned to sing a lot probably by listening to Nirvana songs and just singing in my car. In terms of pop, I love Lana Del Rey. I think she's great. She's got a really cool style. We were listening to her a lot when we were recording the We Are the Know EP. I'm a huge Miley Cyrus fan. I love her so much. I think she's really great. Some of the stuff she did with the Flaming Lips was amazing. There's a song called Karen Don't Be Sad. I think that was actually on one of our inspiration lists when we were recording. I love Post Malone too, if that's pop. I don't really know what that would be considered. Naming a band is kind of difficult. There's a lot of options. There's a lot of names that are taken. So I remember hearing one time something about like whatever you name the band sort of becomes the essence of the project. And it kind of rang true because the project that Dan and I had previously to this, where I played bass, was called Ghostel, and that kind of just disappeared. So the idea of what you name it becoming what the band is really stood out to me. So I wanted to name it something that had a little bit more staying power. And although I go by my maiden name, which is Farmer, Dan and I are married and our last name is Knowles, and so I took the Knowles, but I didn't really like the way that sounded, so I just took off the last few letters and made it the No. I like to kind of name things something that means something to me, and so I thought that was cool because it's Dan and I together, and you know, it's just our name. It's pretty simple. I'm not sure if anything is more iconic than the guitar, right? I think this is an easy question for me to answer for Dan, even though he's not here. I think Dan's dream collaboration would definitely be Tom Waits. That's a no-brainer. For me, I think probably someone like Stephen Merritt from the Magnetic Fields would be awesome. He's an incredible songwriter. Or Frank Black from the Pixies. Even the National, they have a lot of female singers that they collaborate with, so that would be cool at some point. Yeah. We're pretty happy. happy with the way that it's gone so far, especially for a brand new band. We didn't really have huge expectations. We did everything ourselves. We don't have a label. So, I mean, I think what we've been able to achieve on our own has been really great. You know, it would be really nice to be recognized more. So send it to your friends, share it, do all the things. Our lyrics are pretty personal, so I think our experiences play a huge role in the music because they're about our experiences. We typically will take a memory or something, a feeling that we had, and sort of construct it from there, and maybe add a little bit of imagination to some of it. You know, you gotta dramatize it a little bit. I grew up acting, and I moved to Los Angeles for acting school when I was 18, and it's something that I just didn't feel comfortable pursuing. It just didn't feel like it was for me. I've always really been into music and been a huge fan of music. Singing was something I always wanted to do, but I just never had the courage. I like being able to be myself. I think that's why our songs are so personal, because I'm able to connect to that emotionally, hopefully. I try. I think just what inspires me most is storytelling and emotion. You know, probably a lot like you are right now, just at home, trying to keep busy and stay creative. And I work from home anyway, so it hasn't been insanely different for me, except Dan's here all the time now, which is good and bad. It's good in terms of we have more time to do stuff for the band, but I'm good, you know, I'm hanging in there. Good days and bad days. How are you guys doing? Let us know. Leave us a comment. Reach out on social media, say hi. I love talking to people. Why is Billy Corgan not in a fucking stupid cape? That's the real question here. I'm kind of surprised this question hasn't been asked a lot, because it's so funny to me. 143 is a song about a night out in LA, and we pieced together like random memories that we had from nights out over the course of our relationship, especially in the beginning, places that we were going to and things that we were doing, like going to the Echo, hanging out on Cahuenga, which is a street with a lot of bars in Los Angeles, drinking Jameson, staying out all night till the sun comes up. That's sort of what the entire song is about. And so when we were writing it, Dan had freestyled a line that was "The City by the Lake," which is a Smashing Pumpkins lyric. And so naturally it just kind of flowed into something about Billy Corgan. And it kind of was from a few months prior. We had seen the Smashing Pumpkins perform, and at one point my friend Colin, who's actually in the 143 video, he had leaned over to us at the show and was like, "Is he wearing a fucking stupid cape?" And I thought it was the funniest thing I'd ever heard, and it just stayed in my mind. And so it kind of came from that. And then towards the end of the song, he's in a fucking awesome cape. And we did that because it's like when people are telling stories of a night, everybody tells it differently. It's just like a game of telephone when you're trying to remember a drunken night out. We thought it was fucking hilarious. So we love the Smashing Pumpkins, by the way. They were my first concert ever. Yeah, we're big fans. We like them.